Hello. Just imagine that you have a shed in your back garden, and your shed contains quite a few saws and drills and various bits of equipment that could be dangerous in the hands of someone who doesn't know how to use them properly. And your neighbour is very concerned, for some reason, about your safety. So one day, when you leave the shed unlocked, your neighbour goes in and steals all your goods in the shed. And you find out they've done it, and you find out they've done it because it's for your safety. It's because they think that you are not going to be safe. You're going to hurt yourself handling the equipment in your shed. And when you go to the police station, instead of getting justice as the victim, you get told that you're wasting police time and you get arrested for that. How would that make you feel? Well, this is exactly how I feel about the policing of coronavirus regulations here in Britain. And I say this in particular regards to protests. Because the government are stealing from the people. They are stealing people's jobs, livelihoods, social lives, all the leisure activities, going to the pub, going to the gym, going to the cinema, all kinds of stuff that people like to do. They've taken it away from people in the name of keeping you healthy, staying safe, saving lives. But yet they are stealing these things from the people without our consent, without any opportunity for us to object. And yet when people go to protests, when they go to London, to places such as Hyde Park or Trafalgar Square, and they want to express their anger and they want to wake other people up to what is happening, this is the reaction we get from the police. Put up or shut up. Your Coronavirus Act state you have to stay home, so we're arresting you. I have several issues with this, and it makes me very angry. I was bullied when I was at school, and I always saw the police as people who would be on the side of the victim. I've had to use the police a few times in my adult life when I've been the victim of crime, several times. And I feel completely betrayed by the police, by the way that they are treating innocent, law-abiding victims of the government. The police constable's oath includes to preserve and uphold human rights and to be impartial. It says nothing about enforcing statutes and acts of parliament, especially those that haven't even been through the proper parliamentary procedures. But yet, and that means that when the government is violating the rights of the people, to uphold their oath, the police should be protecting the people against the government and upholding the rule of law, which is to cause no harm, a loss or injury to others, whichever way it goes. Another point is that it states in the police's guide to dealing with coronavirus breaches that you should explain, engage, encourage, and then enforce. This is, in my opinion, a facade, because if you are genuinely going to engage with somebody, you will listen to the other person's point of view, and you might be willing to change your mind. You will accept their reasons. You will listen to their heartache and their anger and being upset. But what the police are doing is they're just basically going to enforce. They're just starting off softly. It's a little bit like, and this is not a perfect analogy, that I come into your house one day and I just say, "Oh, can I have a cup of tea, please?" And then the owner says, "No." And then I say, I try and explain, say, "Well, actually, I need a bit of an energy boost and all that. A bit tired, I could really do with one." And then the owner of the house says, "No, I can't do that." And then I try and encourage, "Oh, please, 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 give me a cup of tea, please. I really need it. The owner says no. So then, because I've engaged, I've explained, I've tried to encourage, I then go to the kettle and grab a cup of tea without his permission. That's what the police are doing. They're not genuinely engaging. Now, I could go on, and I probably will talk more about this in more of my videos, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Those people who are out at protests, people will be doing it for different reasons. Some will be out there because they are maybe not personally affected that much, but they understand the New World Order agenda and that this is not going to go away. This COVID regime is not going to go away on its own accord. And they are out there because they want to stop it. Other people will be there because their lives have personally been affected in a bad way, or their children will be affected. And for many people, it'll be a bit of both. Now, if it turns out that those of us who go on the protests, that we're talking and protesting about the New World Order and the Great Reset and Agenda 21 and this totalitarian regime they want to bring in, if it turns out in time that we are right, will we get an apology from those police? Will every police constable or officer out there one day say, look guys, we are really, really sorry. You were being let down by your own government. We were policing this on the basis that it's just 1 month or a little short period of time to get over a health crisis and it all back to normal. Your concerns were legitimate and we are really, really sorry about the way we treated you. Because this is the crux of it, in my view. It wouldn't be so bad if this was genuinely a temporary, short-term health crisis. We were all told to stay at home because there was a genuine crisis out there and the police were simply trying to mitigate that crisis. A bit like you may have in a war zone. The police may remove people forcefully from a danger zone, a war zone, or a flood or a fire situation for their own safety to mitigate a genuine emergency. But when it becomes apparent that was never the case, and it was never about mitigation, because let's put it this way, if this was genuinely about mitigation, the police, when they see a gathering, they wouldn't muscle in their numbers and go out arresting people, getting into contact, handcuffing them, putting them in vans, because they would realise that all they are doing is enlarging the crowd. If it was genuinely about mitigation, the police would say, oh well, they're out there, we can't do anything to mitigate it, so we might as well just leave them alone and they'll leave in time. Just encourage, and that's all. If it was genuinely about mitigation, that's what I expect. But the fact they are going into these things, going to these protests, they don't appear to be having any danger pay or anything like that. They don't seem to be worried about them catching the virus by going out arresting people. That tells me this is not genuinely about a virus, and it's not genuinely about mitigating a genuine public health emergency. This is about control, this is about social engineering, this is about preparing the New World Order. And when these things become apparent, if we don't win this war, will we get an apology from the police? I would expect nothing less than an apology from each and every police officer or constable out there on the streets enforcing COVID regulations. I am really sorry. We thought this was genuinely going to blow over. This was just a short-term health crisis and we were trying to mitigate a genuine emergency. You were right. This was the New World Order. Our lives have been destroyed and we are really, really sorry for treating you like that when you are out protesting and complaining about it. Will we get an apology? That is my question. And I would expect nothing less. Thank you very much.